Imagine setting off on a dream adventure, a trip filled with good intentions and the excitement of exploring a new world. That's exactly what Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon, two young women from the Netherlands, were doing in Panama. But what started as an inspiring journey in 2014 took a dark and baffling turn when a simple hike vanished them from the face of the earth, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and eerie clues that continue to haunt investigators and armchair detectives to this day. Welcome back to Macabre Mondays, where mystery meets the macabre with your favorite deadly duo. I'm Ale.
And I'm Tom.
Your guides through the strange, the sinister, and the spooky. Today, we delve into a chilling mystery that continues to baffle everyone who learns about it. The disappearance of Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon, two young women full of life and adventure, vanished into the Panamanian jungle, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Have you heard of this story before, Tom?
I have not. Eager to dive in.
Have you nothing about it?
No.
Like whatsoever? Okay, that'll be fun.
I'll be completely honest. And everyone feel free to make fun of me in the comments. When you first started saying Kris, I thought you were going to say Kris Kringle.
No. Again, wrong podcast. No, imagine.
Merry Christmas.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you haven't learned about this case because this is a baffling one. So many people talk about this because it's very eerie. I mean, it fits in the mystery, crimey realm. It's kind of a little bit
macabre.
Yeah, a little bit macabre, very much so. You ready to dive in?
I'm ready. Let's dive.
Let's dive in. So picture this. It's 2014, and these two bright young adventurous friends from the Netherlands decide to travel to Panama. They were in their early 20s. Kris was 21 and Lisanne was 22. They weren't just going out for a vacation, though. They had this plan to teach local kids English at a school and really just experience a different type of culture. Both of them had just finished university. Kris graduated in art education and Lisanne graduated in applied psychology. They were so excited and looking forward to this trip that they had actually saved up for 6 months to make this 6-week trip happen. There were also reports that their families were selling like stuffed animals and food at local churches or whatever just to kind of help.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
collect.
like everyone was coming in to help them out.
They all really wanted to just kind of pitch in and help out with that, right? Also, how cool to go to another country and, volunteer to be able to help local schools and teach English. I mean, that's amazing, especially for third world countries. That's awesome. And the experience that you get from that and the memories, it's absolutely amazing. Now, they arrived in Panama on March 15th and spent the first 2 weeks exploring and taking Spanish lessons. Then, on March 29th, they headed to this mountain town called Boquete in Panama. That's where they were going to stay with a host family for a month while they volunteered. The woman's name was Miriam Guerra, and she was known for housing other students who came abroad. Now, Boquete, Panama is a popular destination for hiking, coffee plantation tours, and just honestly relaxing in the mountains.
So it's kind of like a touristy destination?
Yeah,
if
you're into
adventurous.
like outside. Yeah, if you're into outside like that. It's really pretty.
Oh, that looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like this small town nestled within the mountains. They also have like a volcano around there that people go hiking. It's a lot about the sightseeings. If you're into like nature and not earthy, but if you're into nature and enjoying the outdoors, it's definitely a place that people like to go. Here's where things just get a little off from the start. They were supposed to start volunteering at the local school, teaching English to the kids, but when they got to Boquete, there was a mix-up. It seemed like they arrived a week earlier than expected, and the school wasn't really ready for them, which kind of upset them. Kris even wrote a note in her diary saying that the school staff were rude and not friendly at all about that whole situation. And there's actually reports that she texted her parents saying that she was kind of just disappointed of how everything was turning out. So with this unexpected free week that now they have on hands, they decided to, let's not let this damper their mood or their time. They're here in Panama. They got a free week.
Let's have fun.
Yeah, let's have fun. So they started planning to do some sightseeings and hiking around Bouquet, get to know the area, just kind of do whatever they feel like doing, which, I mean, I would have done the same thing, make lemonade out of lemons, right? So they even ended up booking a guided tour for April 2nd. Now on Tuesday, April 1st, they decided to hike the Pianista Trail. It's a really pretty popular path. Like, I was going
to say, I feel like I've heard of this trail.
You might have. It's like a hiker's trail kind of thing, but it's so popular that even like dog walkers go on it. So it's kind of like a typical thing, right? Some reports say that when they go to the Pianista Trail, that they actually took the host's family dog. So because they're staying at this like hostel, that they actually took the host's family dog on a walk with them. But the dog doesn't show up anywhere or there's any reports. So there's kind of some interesting conflicting stories there. So I'll be honest with you, I don't think that he went. Okay. So maybe they've taken, maybe they say that they took him on a walk, but on this day, April 1st, where they were headed out to the trail, he doesn't show up in any photos. So
interesting.
Yeah, and you gotta think about it.
So it doesn't really seem like he went at all.
Yeah, or maybe if he did, it sounds more like, especially in third world countries, dogs are more strays. Yeah. You have a dog, but
like
he lives
dog,
outside.
But and they kind of roam. It's kind of like how American street cats.
Pretty much really like stray cats, yeah. But over there, it's like a lot with the dogs too and stuff like that. So to me, I'm like, I wonder if that's why people maybe the dog was following them, or they kind of were walking with the dog, but the dog came back, whatever. So there's like conflicting stories there. Now, the Pianista Trail, it's said that it's a very popular hiking trail where dog walkers go. But learning more about this trail, I was like, this doesn't really seem like your typical hiking trail. Like, hey, let's go for a walk or a hike with Buddha, Phoebe, and Scrappy. It looks stunning, and it definitely isn't a hike that I'd be able to just casually take unless I kind of knew the route.
I was gonna say, is it like more strenuous?
Well, that's what I wanted to show you, right? So this is the entrance of the hike of the trail. It's very mountainous, and it has different type of areas. It's a cloud forest region of Panama. So it's known for like its incredible views, and the trail itself like winds through this like luscious green cloud forest like I just showed you. So to me, when I think of hike, especially if I'm somewhere new, this would be something I'd probably go on a tour with, like a tour guide with, because it's pretty labeled off, like where you have to go. But I was finding some TripAdvisor reviews of tour guides that actually go on the Pianista Trail, and the photos that they were posting, I'm like, this doesn't seem like I'd have to like know.
Oh
yeah, like I'd have to know.
Rough.
Yeah, like and the review that this tour guide posts, she's like, yeah, this is the trail that I go on.
I would have definitely gone to the right.
That's what I mean.
That photo.
Yeah, and that's why to me I was just like, okay, I mean, but again, they go on the trail. It's very well known. So, but again, I'm like, I don't know how trails are well known.
The dog's probably not in any of the photos.
Yeah, the dog's like, dog, good luck.
They got to the fork and they're like, oh, you're gonna go the way that you shouldn't go. Okay,
yeah,
have fun.
Like, see you later.
Dog
was
like, idiots.
No, seriously. So that's right. But the Pianista Trail is near Bouquet, which is right by where they're living. So, and it's a very popular spot. So let's do it. Now, the name Pianista, which translates in English as pianist, actually comes from the way that it climbs uphill. Supposedly, it's like a piano keyboard, hence pianista. Now, it's a popular hike, usually taking around 2.5 to 3 hours to reach the main viewpoint called Mirador, which Mirador stands for the lookout or the viewpoint, which is like the highest, what the whole goal is of hiking up this mountain.
Getting a nice view.
Right. Now, the word mira in Mirador means what?
Look.
That's right, Katie.
Hey, I've been part of your family for how long I've been learning.
I know, you've been doing really great. But after you reach El Mirador, then you can come back down the same way you came up. So it makes it about a rough 5 to 6 hour round trip if you just go up to Mirador and come back. From the Mirador, on a clear day, you can see amazing views of the mountains, like absolutely stunning, right? And even down to the town of Bouquet, so you can see that from up there. Now, this trail is considered an intermediate hike. Good fitness is required, mostly accessible paths, but with some uphill climbing and potential slippery sections, which makes sense why you're going, if you're going through a clouded forest, there's going to be a lot of condensation, there's going to be a lot of water, it's very humid.
Especially down there, yeah.
Right, exactly. So now earlier that morning, Kris actually sent a message to her boyfriend saying that they were going on a hike. The last time her family heard from her was around 8 a.m. in Panama time, which they're only an hour behind us, so it's nothing too crazy. I was going to say
they're at the same time in Mexico, right?
Yes.
Well, most of Mexico.
Well, some part of Mexico, yeah. Now, there's a bit of a discrepancy here because a taxi driver dropped them off at the trailhead around 1:30 p.m., so where they could enter the trail. But photos on their phones show that they started the hike kind of way earlier, around 11 a.m. So honestly, who knows what really happened with the timing there, but honestly, it could be a simple mix-up,
Yeah.
Who knows? So they were taking photos of themselves and their journey thus far. So we know exactly what they were doing days leading up to April 1st, like up until they're ready for their hike. So the day that they're off to the trail, there's photos of them that they took of each other, selfies. They're super excited. And to me, I feel like they're dressed pretty casual for this type of hike. I mean, how I would probably dress for a hike. But then again, I'm like, maybe I'm just overthinking it because you'll see why.
Okay.
But let me show you a photo of... Like, this is them the day that they're going on the hike.
That looks like typical hiking clothes.
Right.
Wait, so hold on. Are people saying that they were dressed up?
No. I'm just saying I felt like they were just a little too casual for the type of hike that it was.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because, and you'll see more. You'll see why I'm saying why. Because they're wearing like tank tops and shorts. And again, like that's fine. But the part that I mean by casual is that they had a blue backpack with them, just one. We don't know exactly what was in it, but we can just probably assume their phones, a camera. Lisanne was known for having a camera. Maybe they probably had some cash, maybe a water bottle, especially since they're going on a hike, right? And from reports, it said that it didn't sound like they were planning on being out there for more than a few hours, probably just to do the trail and then head back to the hostel. So that's why I'm like, okay, if I'm going out for a couple hours, to me, I was just like, when I saw the photos of the actual trail in the mountain, I'm just like, oh man, I'm gonna need some pocket biker shorts. I'm gonna need a sports bra on. I'm gonna need to make sure I've got them power jellies in my bag. But that's me.
I was gonna say, you also don't hike the way that some people do, so they might be so used to that. To them, this is just a casual
hike,
stroll,
right? And to me, I'm like, when I started looking up, it's an intermediate hike as long as you have. That's why I'm like, okay, yeah, it's probably just me, but that's just what I was thinking.
We love a prepared woman.
Yeah, I can't help it. So, but here's the really unsettling part. They didn't come back after 6 hours or even that evening. The host mom, Miriam, got worried when their dog returned home alone. But again, like I said, I don't know.
Yeah, and based off of that trail, honestly, now I'm actually... It was a joke to start with, but now I'm also wondering if the dog genuinely knew its route or something.
Right, which is very common if you think about dogs that are in those third world countries it's used to them having that. They probably know their way around.
For days.
And what's that movie that we just saw on a cruise a while ago? And it was about that. Oh man, they were on a race. It was like a Spartan type of race.
Oh yes.
And there was a dog that
gosh,
what's his name?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. I'm like, who the fuck's
Marky Mark?
Yes,
the Funky Bunch.
He found a dog when he was doing this trail, and
it was like an Iron Man type triathlon.
Yeah, and they were in Brazil or something. Yes. They were in like that type of terrain, right?
Like you have to use a compass. Yeah. You have to use wayfinding.
And you can find your own way. Like there's no specific set trail. Like you just go with your whole team. They called
it like a triathlon, but yeah,
it was something like that.
It was
right?
intense.
Yeah, I'll get the name of that. Okay, the movie was called Arthur the King.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Such a good
If you guys haven't watched it, definitely watch it. It's very emotional. I remember feeling anything with dogs, I honestly get so emotional.
I was going to say, if you're a dog lover the way my wife is, then it'll be an emotional movie.
Yeah, it reminds me.
Otherwise, it's inspirational.
Yes, it's very inspirational, and it's an incredible true story. Let me see what it said.
King Arthur.
That's what it is. Epic adventure race across the Dominican Republic. That's what he was doing. And it's
like a super hard race to even get into.
It is. Not many people do. And you need to get like sponsors, whatever. Go watch it. I thought it was really great. But it reminds me of this where I'm just like, if you think about it, so Miriam says that the dog comes home alone. But a part of me is also like, maybe she saw them leave with the dog, but the dog's probably, I'll see you guys later, because they took a taxi to the entrance of the trail.
Like, I got my own places to go today.
Yeah, he's like,
we'll catch up later.
Yeah, I'll see you when you guys get back. No worries. So that's where I'm just like, maybe they assume that they probably went with the dog, but I don't think the dog. I don't think the dog has anything to do with this. But I'm just glad to know that the dog is home safe.
The dog was actually taking the photos.
Yeah, he was. She searched around Miriam searched around, but figured, they might just be out. They're young girls. They're here traveling. Maybe they met some friends or went somewhere else, downtown maybe. Who knows? So she kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. But the next day, on April 2nd, remember that they had a guided tour booked?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they missed their appointment, and that's when the alarm bells really just started ringing. The tour guide actually contacted Miriam and then contacted the school, and the school contacted the police and also their parents in the Netherlands.
Damn, that's quick.
I know. Remember, what was that case? That's a techie case when he was missing in the ceiling. Well, when he was missing, they're like, man.
Probably left.
And they called his family and they're like, so is he home by chance?
Because he's not here.
Yeah, because he's not here. So the official search for Kris and Lisanne began on April 3rd, involving both local authorities and community members. Initial efforts included both ground searches along the Pianista Trail and aerial searches of the surrounding area. However, by April 6th, despite these efforts and all the searches, there was still no trace of the two young women. Fearing the worst, Kris and Lisanne's parents traveled to Panama to personally help in the search. Arriving around April 6th, they were accompanied by Dutch authorities, including police officer, dog units trained to track scents, and detectives from the Netherlands. So we're talking the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards here. In an effort to generate more leads, the parents offered a $30,000 reward for any type of information.
Damn.
Yeah. That could lead to their whereabouts of where Kris and Lisanne are. Everyone obviously was worried sick. I mean, I can only imagine, especially not that they let them go, but you're like, have fun. You're going to do something great. You're, something that's going to fulfill you.
That's not something you're expecting.
Right. Not at all. I mean, imagine that. So you can imagine at this point that they must be thinking of all sorts of things, right? Had they gotten lost? Was it an animal attack? Had they maybe taken a wrong turn? Or maybe even worse, had they run into someone dangerous? Maybe they were kidnapped. I don't know.
Okay.
All those possibilities are terrifying either way.
Ooh, I'm foreshadowing, which everyone that listens knows. Because you already kind of mentioned.
What did I mention?
There were photos on their phones, which means their phones had to have gotten left somewhere. Or found or retrieved.
Or maybe those were Facebook posts.
Nobody knew what was in the backpack, so either the backpack went with them or the backpack was also found. So let's dive in.
Okay, Detective Tom, let's get to it.
Where were you the night of April 1st?
2014. So there's been no sign or trace of them until 10 weeks later. 10 weeks later.
Holy.
On June 14th, a local woman hiker found a blue backpack in the woods by a riverbank. It was about 5 miles from the Pianista Trail and over 10 miles from where they were staying in Boquete. Now, that's far.
Yeah, that's not just...
far. Yeah, we're talking miles here. On foot.
I mean, over 10 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the question. How did it get so far, right? It was found near a riverbank. Authorities thought maybe it had washed up. But the weird thing is, the stuff inside was mostly dry. It wasn't wet. And it looked brand new, which is just as bizarre because after being out there for so long, you'd think about...
It'd be dirty.
It'd be like wet. It'd be
something at
something,
least.
Right? And if it showed up 5 miles from there where they were last seen and it's washed up by the riverbank, strange. Now, when the authorities opened the backpack, inside they find Lisanne's passport, some cash. I think I read somewhere that said like $80-something of cash, maybe 83, 87.
Okay.
A water bottle. One water bottle. That's weird. Like it's two girls.
I mean,
you're going
on
a hike.
You never know.
I guess maybe I'm just over-prepared, Mandy, here. My bad.
You are.
Yeah.
Because think of how many times we've gone for walks and you take water and then I just leave mine in the car.
I know, and I'm like, let me take a liquid IV.
And then I'm the one asking for your water.
Exactly. You just never know, though, right? But so they find a water bottle. They find 2 bras that were folded nicely.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Because why would... Were they and they were in the backpack?
They're in this backpack. I'm not done telling you what's there, but...
Okay, well,
all right.
Keep going.
I'll keep going. So 2 bras that were folded nicely, 2 pairs of sunglasses, Lisanne's camera, which was a Canon PowerShot SX270.
Oh, that was a popular camera.
Very popular back then. Actually. You had to be the girl to be, you'd be like, chicka chicka, pew,
that was
pew.
the one that everyone took the mirror photos with.
Yes, pretty much. So, and you already saw some of the photos that I was showing you.
Yeah.
That's, they're just girls.
The original photos.
Those the original back then when you take selfies and you're also like taking photos of the whole world.
The phone camera was but that was the thing.
Yeah, and which is funny, in the backpack, both of their phones was also found.
Oh, that's really weird.
Which Kris had an iPhone 4 and Lisanne had a Samsung Galaxy S.
Probably 4.
3, actually.
Oh, damn, even older.
Yeah, I know. And so when listing off these items, let's think here. One of the things that was missing out of everything that I just stated was in this backpack. Let me see if you can guess or have an idea, Detective Tom.
Them.
Well, yeah, smart ass. No, do you have any idea? What are you thinking?
Her passport, the other passport.
I mean, that is weird that Lisanne's passport's in there, but not Kris's. But again, I mean, maybe Kris just doesn't carry her passport with her.
But then also their wallet. Oh, wait, you said there was
There's
wallet
cash.
with $80-something cash.
There's
possibly.
no wallet, it was just cash.
Or cash.
Yeah.
What about their IDs? Did they have any IDs?
There was no IDs. We're just talking. I mean, they had the passport. No. You want me to tell you what is kind of missing?
Yeah,
okay.
because I'm just going to keep going in circles.
Well, you got to think about it. They're staying at a hostel.
Oh.
Are there any keys?
Maybe.
There would be keys. How would they get into the hostel? How would they get back home?
I don't know. It seems like they got a good relationship with the people.
You
like
still
maybe
need
they
keys.
leave the door unlocked. I don't know.
Okay, well, anyways. So that failed.
Failed.
Anyways, but so one of the things that they noticed was missing was there was no key to their place. Wouldn't that be in a backpack especially? Like they're not going to keep that in there.
Yeah, no.
It's strange.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it, every time we go hiking, usually.
Yeah, you don't want to leave.
You
toss them in a bag or something. Yeah.
The only thing you keep in your pocket usually is your wallet or your phone.
Right. Just essentials. Exactly. When police got the backpack and they saw the phones and the camera, that's where things get even stranger. Let me show you a couple photos.
Okay. Man, my dad's not going to want to take a shower, go hiking, go on cruises.
He's not going to Panama.
Anything.
So this is photos of them the day of the hike on El Pianista, right?
Okay.
So this is them. They're having a grand old time. They're taking photos of each other.
I'm assuming, do we have photos of the bras? Because you can kind of see the bra that she's wearing in that one photo. Because one of my theories was, well, what if they were just like backup bras? Because, you sweat.
It could be, but these are the bras.
I don't think that's the same color though, look.
I don't think so.
Because the other one was like a burgundy
It's
stripe.
hard to tell. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell, but good thinking. But yeah, so there are the two sunglasses, which if you think about in this photo here, which I'll post everything.
They are wearing those.
They're wearing those sunglasses. I'll post everything to socials, guys, so you'll be able to kind of connect the dots there. The water bottle, that's the blue backpack. The two bras. Strange, right?
Very.
And everything does look relatively clean. And also, this is their missing persons poster, and they even had a billboard. Yes. Okay, now here's a timeline of the photos when they were taken and how eerie and unsettling they get, okay? Now, obviously, anytime you take a photo nowadays, anytime you send a text message, anytime you do anything on your phone, everything's timestamped.
But even on your the cameras like that, they were.
They were. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Everything is timestamped. So there's a digital trace. There's a digital trail. Now, for the phone, on April 1st, the day that they disappeared, there are calls to emergency services that started around 4:39 p.m. Now, remember, they pretty much started their hike around 11. I know that the taxi driver said around 1:30, but the photos show that
they were on that
at 11
already.
Right, which are the photos that I showed you at the beginning. Now they tried calling 112, which in the Netherlands is their version of 911, and they also dialed 911, which would have sent them to the emergency operator in Panama. But none of those calls went through because of the lack of signal.
Okay.
More of those calls continued on April 2nd. The whole next day.
Oh, wow. This is getting crazy already.
Yeah, when the tour guide was like, they never showed up to their tour. What's going on? They started alerting the police and everybody else. So most of the calls continued the next day on April 2nd. Lisanne's phone died on April 4th.
How can they... Maybe you don't know this. How can they know when the phone died?
Because everything has data. Everything has data on it. Yeah, because you're gonna.
That's kind of cool.
That's what I mean. That's why nowadays it's like, if you have a phone, there is going to be a digital trail anywhere. That's why sometimes I wonder how people still try to commit murder, because I'm like, oh, sweetie, easily get caught. If you have a phone, it's just not that. Because now, nowadays they're like, especially the Idaho 4 case that's happening right now that I've been talking to you about.
Wild.
Yes. And they're saying, like, they know when you turn off your phone because there's no signal that's being pinged off your phone. So they know. There's all these tests. So more of these calls continued on April 2nd. Lisanne's phone died on April 4th. But Kris's phone kept getting turned on and off until April 11th. Someone even entered the wrong PIN code 77 times between April 7th and April 10th.
This isn't looking good.
It's not, because that's weird. Right?
Well, that unless you got like a concussion or you somehow accidentally set your passcode. Yeah. No.
Especially even if you miss it a couple times, you're just, that's kind of
usually odd. By the 4th or 5th time you get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not 77 times.
Yeah, like the log of, and it was like throughout the days too. Like it was just, but 77 is a lot.
That's a lot.
Like that's a lot. Yeah. So also you got to think about it. A part of me is like, I mean, everything that I was reading to, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, they probably turned off their phone because like on and off to save battery, to help like with the roaming calls or whatnot, maybe whatever the case is. If they were calling emergency services, why?
That's true. But remember there was somebody that said that she had called her parents, right?
No, she texted her parents.
So still
before she left. Remember, she was just saying how disappointed she was with how like they were kind of being unfriendly because they messed up. But that was while
she was still living.
She was still living. She hasn't gone on the trail yet.
Maybe she has like international data or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's true. Who knows, right? Or maybe she was using Wi-Fi. People use a lot of WhatsApp when they travel. That's true.
Was WhatsApp a thing back then?
Yeah, I would say so. Let me look it up now because now we're going on a deep dive.
2014.
WhatsApp was actually founded in February of 2009. So yeah, it would have been a thing. Yeah. So that could rule that out, right? She's probably using Wi-Fi. So maybe they're just kind of, that could be it. But that's one of the things that I saw, that they were probably turning it on and off to save battery or whatnot. But then that leaves us the camera. The photos from April 1st show them hiking, looking happy, like I showed you, having a grand old time. The last daytime photo was around 1:54 p.m. But then the next photo they find goes from April 1st to April 8th, my birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. Between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. There are 90 flash photos taken.
What the heck?
These photos are so, they give me a sensation down my spine. Like it just freaks me out. Let me show you.
I'm going to see them in a second, but I'm also wondering if they were flash photos, maybe they were trying to like signal a plane or something.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, signal a plane, or maybe look at where they are, or the trail, or, I mean, if you think about it, they're in the forest. It's pitch black.
Yeah.
Remember that time we went hiking on a date?
Yes.
And we almost, thank God we made it back. On my broken
ankle.
Yeah, let's not mention that.
When I tried to ask you to be my girlfriend the first time.
Yes. You
said no.
Okay, but I said yes the second time, and here we are married.
Long hike back down.
Let's let it go. I wasn't ready. No, but remember on our way back down, like we were losing sunlight, and
remember we kept falling too.
Yes, because of how dark it was, and I had to use my phone flashlight.
That's on me. I should have chosen a mountain that I knew better.
Well, look at you, Kris and Lisanne. Here we go. No, but it happens a lot. A lot of people don't think about it. So let me show you these photos. These are some of the photos that were recovered.
Yo, that's eerie.
Right? One of the photos that they find of Kris's hair.
That hair looks like it's like messed up.
I know. And there is somebody posted, right, you see the red? Mm-hmm. Right, somebody posted kind of like a breakdown of what they think each part of this is. They think of this as the nose, this might be the mouth, this is like an ear, there's a cheekbone here, but there's also, it looks red. So some people speculate that it might be blood, something.
Yep.
Just so sad because it's like 90 flash photos. Like we're talking about, you know what I mean?
Like, go to sleep after this. Jesus.
Isn't that eerie?
That's really eerie. And I've gone hiking. I mean, my stories. I went to, for anyone that was a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
I went to Philmont, which is a big thing in the Scouts. And that's in Cimarron, New Mexico. And you go hiking. That's a very eerie photo. Mm-hmm. But you go hiking 10 days. We did 75 miles.
Right.
And you're out there just
Then it's pitch black, right?
Pitch black that night, yeah. They don't have walking trail lights. You hike, and then once you get to your campsite at like 4 or 5 p.m., then you set up camp and you go to sleep.
And you got to think about it. You guys were prepped and ready for stuff like that.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Right. No, but that's what I mean. Imagine
full camping gear.
Imagine if you were out there without like what they had in their backpack. Yeah. That'd be scary.
I mean, we even had 2 sets of boots and everything.
Right. So imagine that. So, I mean, that's like how scary is that?
Photo, that's eerie.
Right? It's so eerie. And to think that these were the last final moments that we know of Kris and Lisanne, right? I know, I'm sorry. So the 90 flash photos revealed a number of unsettling details about the potential circumstances faced by Kris and Lisanne. In the jungle, pitch black, like I showed you, some of those images depicted their belongings scattered on rocks, including a twig adorned with like a plastic bag, like that red plastic bag, what appeared to be maybe a backpack strap, a mirror, and a discarded candy wrappers. Another photo showed what many believe to be the back of Kris's head, which is that photo I showed you with her hair, with some interpretation suggesting maybe there's the presence of blood or something nearby. Now, it's pitch black in the jungle, and the photos, the perspective and angles of many of these like nighttime photos that I showed you are just really disoriented. Yeah, and gut-wrenching for sure. The police and the authorities and everybody showed everybody who would want to help to try to identify, maybe you know where this area is or whatnot. But because of how disoriented that the angles were, it was hard for even individuals that are so familiar with that terrain to even pinpoint the exact locations that they were taken.
Yeah.
So nobody could even be like, even the most avid hiker that knows those, that's so well versed and they know exactly all these trails. Yeah, they were not a chance. Can't even figure out what that was. So much so that there is speculation regarding the possibility that some images also might have been deleted from the camera's memory. The image that attention was drawn to was a missing photo numbered 509, which would have chronologically fallen between the last daytime image and the first mysterious nighttime photo. So that's interesting.
That's really weird, yeah.
Right? One photo, not several, just that one photo.
Yeah. And because even on new cameras, even back then, all your photos were always marked in a numbered order. So the fact that that's even a discrepancy there is so strange. Like, it just makes it so weird. And it literally, no joke, like the hairs on my back are standing right now because of how like eerie and unsettling they feel. Because it also makes you wonder.
Right?
You know what it is? I think it's the fact that you just think about it and you know that somebody that knows what happened was behind that camera. And then you start letting your brain go wild and paint a picture of what that scene looked like.
And the fact that you already have some photos of what that scene looks like, it just makes it so...
You know what's the worst one too to me was it's the photo of her.
Yeah, of Kris's hair. Yes. No, and it's not so even eerie.
It's just eerie.
It's just her hair, yeah. And everything, like
you can tell it's dark as hell around it.
Yes. And you see like specks of dust, which some people report that it's probably like orbs or something or whatever, but...
I mean, it could also be... Back then, cameras weren't that great, so it could have honestly just been the camera's not able to actually adjust and focus.
Also, they're in like the trail is in a clouded type of forest, almost like it's humidity. Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird.
Could
like
be
to me,
and
that's like pitch black. That's scary. So these disturbing details from the photographs clearly raise a lot of questions and have fueled a wide range of theories regarding what might have transpired the days leading up to these images being captured. After the backpack was found, they kept searching for them along the riverbank where the bag was located, right? Now, it was during this search that Kris's denim shorts were found on top of a rock on the opposite bank of a creek, situated several kilometers away from the location where the backpack had been discovered. Now, we're talking...
That's weird.
Now she's even further... Now they're even further away of where they were found.
Was it in between where the hike was and where the backpack was found, or was it like actually further past
where the backpack was found? So where that hiker found that backpack,
that's really
they ended up
freaking
right
weird.
Because they were like, you know what? Well, maybe this washed up. Let's just continue going upstream, seeing if we search anything. Maybe we find something, and that's where they find Kris's denim shorts on top of a rock.
That's crazy.
2 months after the backpack was found, closer to its location. So it's been 2 months. All they found so far was Kris's denim shorts.
Denim shorts and the backpack.
2 months later, in the backpack. 2 months after the backpack was found, closer to its location, searchers discovered a pelvis and a hiking boot, which still contained a human foot inside.
Was that her boot?
This finding was followed by the discovery of at least 33 widely scattered bone fragments along the same riverbank.
Holy.
DNA testing confirmed the remains belonged to Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon. One of the things noted was the state of decomposition was different between the two sets of remains, which
So
weird.
in other words, one might have died later.
Who knows? Yeah, could have. Lisanne's bones showed less decomposition, with some skin still attached to them, and her foot was found severed cleanly within her boot. So that's whose foot was in. That's whose boot it was.
So somebody
Lisanne's.
chopped her up.
Which it's funny that you say that, because that detail some believed occurred post-mortem because of how clean the cut was. Like that cut was so clean. That
she's either knocked out unconscious or something. Because
she had to have been dead. Because of the fact of how everything.
Struggle.
Yeah, and especially if it's such a clean cut, you just wouldn't be alive for that.
No.
Yeah, you'd have to be knocked out. Cold, dead.
That you're the strongest freaking person in the world.
No, seriously, straight up. So there was also reports that Lisanne's skin was found rolled into a ball.
Ew.
I know. And in contrast, Kris's bones appear to have been bleached, and only half of her pelvic bone was recovered. In total, only a small percentage of their skeletal remains were found, approximately around like 10% of Lisanne's and 5% of Kris's.
Dude, I can't. I won't lie.
You're shivering. I know.
Yes, and it's not even cold. Like, don't get me wrong.
No,
it's cold outside right now, but it's just. Oh, dude, this is the spookiest freaking case
I know.
that we've covered at night.
I know. They only get spookier from here. Sorry, babe. You know I love you. No, but I think what really...
New role available on Macabre Mondays.
Top listener in chief.
Co-listener-in-chief.
But what makes it so spooky is the freaking photos. My God, I can't wait for... Not that I can't wait, because honestly, if this changed my life when I first saw it, but it's going to change your guys' too if you've never heard of this case. And even if you have, wild. Anytime I've ever heard of this case again, oh my God, it sends shivers down my spine because of how eerie it is. Let's add another layer of mystery to this case.
Oh, what the...
You love it when I do that.
I'm holding back.
Now, a Panamanian forensic anthropologist stated that under magnification, the recovered bones showed no discernible scratches or marks of any kind, whether natural or man-made.
So, if the bone's not showing scratches, man-made or whatever.
Natural.
Then immediately my mind says they must have been cleanly killed or drugged because an animal 100% bears are going to tear you to shreds. A bobcat, panther, whatever the heck else is out there, you would have been torn up. There would have been bite marks and stuff. So
there would have been some type of scratch, right? But also you got to think about it. They only have 33 bone fragments, and they said they only have like 10% of Lisanne's, 5% of Kris's.
Yeah.
So in reality, I mean, it is really weird, because to me, I'm like, it would have shown something.
Yeah, but I mean...
But I totally get what you're saying.
Animals leave their bones.
That's what I mean.
And they also don't really scatter bones. They typically will kill and either take back to where they're living, or they'll kill right there and just
that's what I thought too. I'm like, maybe if it was like that, right, I thought that, like, well, the animal doesn't really scatter, but then I wonder if there's other types of animals, like maybe one's a bigger animal, because also one of the things I looked up is what kind of animals are around in Panama and this type of trail. It's like cougars. It could be
a cougar would have ripped it.
That's what I mean.
There would have been marks.
Yeah, that's 100%. What I mean. So yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, because it's just weird. It's weird.
Eerie.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't add up.
Doesn't make sense. So let me throw you another layer of mystery to this whole situation.
Hit me.
Okay, so like I said, there were no discernible scratches or marks of any kind, natural, man-made.
Okay.
Amongst all the recovered bone fragments, 3 remained unidentified and weren't Lisanne's or Kris's.
I'm sorry, what? Did they ever identify it?
Unidentified. Don't know. They were never identified because they just weren't Lisanne or Kris's.
And they're human.
And they're human bones.
That's weird.
That's very weird. Now, these findings, while confirming the tragic deaths of the two women, it presented a series of unsettling details that just did not easily align with it being a straightforward accident, right? Because like we've already been talking about it. How?
Not accident.
I know. So the theories are, the official story that the Dutch authorities favor is that they probably got lost and fell from a cliff, seeing how dense the cloud forest can get. Like I showed you, a lot of humidity, a lot of...
Oh, so no bones broke, but...
Right. So that could have turned them... maybe the cloud forest probably turned them around, or maybe they could have fallen off a monkey bridge.
Dude, if she fell off a monkey bridge, her pelvis would have been... You found a freaking pelvic bone. You don't think that thing would have been shattered?
And a boot with...
And a boot? You don't think the foot would have been broken?
I know. But that's the thing. There's no evidence that shows that they even were on a bridge, on a monkey bridge. So it's just all speculation. Like, they're just like, they probably must have fallen off a bridge.
Also, they would have taken a photo of that because going on a monkey bridge is kind of cool.
Right. Okay. If you guys don't know what monkey bridges are, it's like those really death-defying type of bridges in the middle of the forest that are made out of like twig and branches. And they're like, yeah, okay. They look scary.
They're cool.
Yeah. So investigators obviously have all sorts of theories. Maybe one of them got injured and the other one went for help and got lost too. Now, while the challenging terrain and the presence of those bridges do offer a plausible explanation for an accident, right? This theory doesn't convince many to fully account for all the evidence, particularly the mysterious nighttime photos taken a week after they disappeared and the peculiar condition of their recovered remains, clearly.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, I would so much want to believe that that's what it is, but it's hard to believe that with all the evidence.
It's extremely hard, especially with the one photo of her face or head or whatever.
Her hair.
Angle.
Yeah,
her hair, because
it's weird.
It's clear. It's clearly blood. I don't think there's anything else, in my opinion, that could be in her hair.
No. So that's theory one. Theory two is that locals have their own ideas, of course. Some think it was wild animals that got to them, which, like we discussed. I mean, to me, like the wild animals theory, it could be a reality because this does happen more times than we think. I even looked it up too. I looked up like in the US alone, 8 people die annually in the United States from wildlife attacks, but over 47,000 seek medical attention after being attacked or bitten by wildlife. So there's only 8 like fatalities essentially, but 47,000 of those are actually still attacks. They just made it out alive. So it's a lot more common than we think. So that's what I'm just saying.
You do have cocaine bear out there, so.
God. No, isn't that Peru? Was it Panama?
I thought that was in the U.S.
Was it? No, you might be right.
There was the movie that was made about it, but then I think there was an actual true story about it, right?
Yeah, there was.
And I think you're right. I think the true story is like Peru or something.
Well, the bear was found dead in northern Georgia, and they stuffed and displayed it at a mall in Kentucky.
I'm sorry. Wait, what mall in Kentucky? And what part of Kentucky?
I don't know, but maybe you've been there.
Yeah, because we went to a lot of malls in Kentucky.
Yeah, your mom's from Kentucky.
Yes, and I also lived in Kentucky.
Your cousin lives in Kentucky, no?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time between Louisville and Lexington.
No, it was a bear that was found dead from an overdose in a Georgia forest. Yeah, the film was based on a 1985 incident involving a 200-pound American black bear. That's insane.
Which is crazy because black bears, Boy Scout Tom here.
Oh God, here we go. Shoot your shot. Go for it.
Black bears are not the ones that you need to be worried about.
Unless they're on cocaine.
Well, unless they're on cocaine or if they're around a cub. Black bears are actually the ones that are typically more friendly, more curious. Some people refer to them as dogs in the bear community. The one thing that'll cause them to attack, typically, if you run, you make too much noise and startle them to where they get scared and think they need to defend themselves, or if your dog is barking at them.
True. That's why they say not to really travel with your dog off leash unless your dog is so obedient that it would not react to a bear or any other type of animal, because you just can't take chances like that when you're out hiking. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. So that's why it's so important to be very well prepared for hikes. Like, tell people where you're going. Even if you're going on, even if it's a 5-minute hike, 10-minute hike, just go in groups or have a backup plan. Yes, have a backup plan. I think people generally don't understand how dangerous the wilderness can be without the right knowledge or planning or resources. And like I said, even the simplest of hikes, it just doesn't hurt. Send your location, just let people know where you're going. Even if you're going on a mountainous hike or whatever the case is, there's usually like a ranger or what is it, like those informational posts or something?
Oh, like a welcome center.
Like a welcome center. Yeah, ask questions.
And you can get a map and at least just do like the bare minimum of research of how to read your map.
Right.
Because that can also help you, because we've been to plenty of state parks, and I can tell you firsthand, there's different. A lot of state parks that when you get there, the trail seems straightforward, but then there are certain areas that it kind of gets off. But thankfully, it's a small enough state park that if you get off trail, you can easily find the trail markers.
Usually, the hikes that we go on with those trails, a lot of other people are also active on that trail too.
Yeah. So if you're off of it, you usually see other people.
Right, and you're like, I think it's that way.
Yeah. Not bad.
No, and that's why, that's why the one photo that I showed you, which I'll post it on our socials, is that you can see them with a map. But I mean, you don't see the map fully, but that map doesn't really look like an actual map that would have really showed. It looks one of those touristy type of maps, like, hey, once you get here, there's a restaurant there. And I don't know, to me, I just feel like it would have been a little bit more detailed. It doesn't look detailed, but for all we know from the angle, it could have been. I don't know.
And I agree, yeah. And I think especially if you're going on a place like that, that's definitely... Because that's one of the things that even in Boy Scouts, before we could go out to New Mexico, we had to learn how to read a map and navigate by a map.
Yeah.
Because if you get off the trail and then at that place, you could easily get off the trail.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get off the trail, you have to understand what to look for. That way you can find 100%. Where you are on the map. I know it sounds insane, but land navigation is not as complicated as you guys think.
Yeah.
And reading a map is actually a lot easier than you would think.
Yeah, I got to learn that. I usually just always have you anytime. I'm like, Tom, I think we have to go right. And you're like, no.
I mean, hey, I do have a lot of experience, and I did come within about 15, 20 feet of a brown bear.
You did, and you survived to tell the tale. Round of applause, everybody. Round of applause.
I scared the hell out of everyone.
Where's the soundboard?
Hold on.
Round of applause. Great job, Tom. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job. You see, I told you that would come in handy. I told you I'd let you press the button. So... that is our second theory, right? Now, the third theory, other theories are that Kris and Lisanne became disoriented and fell victim to mythical witches of the forest before you laugh, it's believed that they inhabit the rural areas around that area, and given the area's history, literally, she's back again. The banshee, everybody's back. But given the area's history as an indigenous settlement, some have even speculated about paranormal involvement. Individuals who knew Kris and Lisanne or are familiar with the Pianista Trail have expressed skepticism that the two young women simply got lost on what is generally considered a well-marked path, right?
Okay.
Which also another thing you got to think about, because I know you were born and raised in the U.S. In South America, I know that in a lot of third world countries, when it comes to paranormal stuff, I feel like I've heard so much more scary stories outside of the U.S.
Because we all chalk it up just to be, it was just the wind.
There's a tornado coming. and Bloody Mary's like in the backyard, and she's like, no, I'm here to take your soul.
It's like the episodes of Family Guy where death shows up.
Yes, exactly. No, but it's just very common. Like, it's a thing. It's scary. It's anytime. And it's also, I mean, Mexico is one place too that people have seen witches flying.
Mexico does terrify me.
No, but I'm telling you, there's so much history there.
Not just because of the cartel, but it's literally all of the
all the history in there?
Yes, you guys have so much history in Mexico.
Yeah.
And between La Llorona, there's death bridges. I've read about there's some river, I think, that's called like the River to Hell.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, there's stuff like that here too.
Sketchy. Well, which I want us to cover.
I know what you mean. And that's exactly what I mean. That's why when I read that some of the locals, like that's one of their things that they think is that she might have been taken by the witches of the forest. I'm like, yo, honestly, a lot of those stories come from places like this, like in Bouquet, Panama, because they're in the middle. It's like a town in the middle of the mountains.
Yeah.
This isn't like us where we're like, oh yeah, we're going to Tennessee. It's not the same. It's not the same.
I hear the same thing from like places like Trinidad and stuff too.
Right. But that's what I mean. I feel like third world countries, it's a lot more of an active and more spooky thing. Other than the U.S., it is spooky. I'm not saying there's a lot of history here that you can't even explain. So I completely, but I feel like it's a whole nother level
too.
Yeah, it's a whole exactly every
Nuke's
time.
top 5.
Yes, every time we watch Nuke Top 5, you don't see it like, oh, I mean, sometimes you see some videos like, look, something weird's happening in my backyard.
Shout out Nuke.
Yeah, and then there's videos of like, oh, I'm visiting my mother in the rural town of Chile, and they're like, there's a ghost walking this way. It's like crazy shit.
The crazy ones are the ones where the people are driving. And it's almost always in Mexico.
Yes.
They're driving and somebody's walking across the interstate. They hit them.
No, and there's always some Hispanic.
And there's nothing behind.
Yes, and there's oh my God, viste lo que vi? Oh, ¿en dónde está? Literally, like, no joke. It's just complete and utter terror in Spanish. It's just spooky. It's really spooky. But that leads us to our last theory, is that they might have encountered someone dangerous. People who maybe knew them.
I like this theory.
Are you leaning more towards this theory?
100%. Who's going to take photos? A bear doesn't take photos. A bobcat or cougar doesn't take photos. Mm-hmm. A snake's not going to take photos.
Okay.
This isn't The Secret Life of Pecs, folks.
Well, people who knew them just don't think, they're just not convinced that they would have gotten lost on that trail. There are theories about foul play. Maybe someone erased photos from their camera, or that their remains were moved because, like we said, it's really strange. That theory is that women were kidnapped and murdered by individuals that they encountered on their hike. Potentially maybe some criminals that were doing some criminal activity, or someone that maybe they had previously met in Bouquet, such as a local tour guide. The local guide who was scheduled to take them on that tour on April 2nd has been a subject of suspicion amongst some of the locals because of the unusual condition of the recovered remains and the bleached appearance on Kris's bones, has led to theories that chemicals such as phosphorus or lime might have been used potentially as a means of disposing evidence. This is also a practice sometimes associated with criminal organizations like Mexican drug cartels, right? And if you think about it out there,
Panama is also big.
Well, I was going to say, if you think about it out there, they have probably systems in the mountains that we don't know about that are off the terrain.
Well, I mean, think about it. Even when, remember I used to tell you when we first met about back in like the early 2000s, a lot of the ways that they would find that drugs were getting to the U.S. was like these miles and miles and miles long tunnels. That were coming literally from Mexico all the way to the U.S. and they'd come into like New Mexico or Texas.
100%. I mean, that's what I mean. And people were saying that the tour guide, right, because seeing how the backpack after weeks of searching felt like it just like randomly appeared, it led to some to theorize that it might have been planted. The strange nature of the nighttime photos that were found on Lisanne's camera, along with the missing image.
And there's an extra set of bones too. Mm-hmm. That's also what's throwing me off.
Yeah. And has obviously that prompts that theory that something else was going on here. It's weird. And also, what local tour guide is worried that you didn't show up to his 2 p.m. Like, that's weird to me. I don't know. Maybe, but again, it's a smaller area. Maybe they're more of, hey, that's weird. Again, like, to me, I wouldn't find it weird.
Think about that.
But it's kind of strange when I think about it, because I'm like, what do you care if they showed up or not? They showed up. You got paid.
Well, maybe he didn't get paid unless they show up.
I don't know. Good point. Yeah, good point. But that's what I mean. Maybe they're just like friendly locals. They're like, I mean, these two Netherlands.
I will say, based off of how you describe the town and the pictures, it does give me kind of that small town vibe, yeah. And think about it, whenever we've gone to Cozumel multiple times.
I was going to mention that in Grand Cayman. When we go, it's very like, they know.
It's funny because it's so packed and there's so many people there, but I mean, hell, we met my Tocayo, and everyone that would walk by, he knew them. They'd say, "Hola, Tomas."
No, seriously, it's like
it's very common.
So that's where I'm like, that's why. But it's just weird still to me that I'm like, why would that be? I think it's also weird
to us though because of how people are here.
Right. But that's where I was just like kind of strange that this local tour guide is like concerned. And apparently, from the reports that I was reading, he was actually very involved in the search. So that's why people were like, okay, that's weird. Like it's kind of like he would put himself in places where like he didn't need to be because why?
Yeah.
But again, that's what I mean. Sometimes it could be read too friendly.
But he did call the hostel owner too, so it's also possible that he was like friends with her or something.
Right. That's what I mean. It just could be. There could just be so much.
I feel like there's a lot of unknowns about the relationships he could have had.
Yeah.
And,
no, 100%. Yeah. Now, those were all the theories, but before we end, I know you're leading on the theory of something else was involved. 100%. I really think that they might have came across someone up there and they must have came across something. Yeah. Well, before we move forward, I wanted to read the trail post. So usually a trail post is kind of like either a marker or a sign or something before the hike or during the hike. And it just kind of lets you know either how far you've got left or maybe some information that you should know about the hike or the trail or the mountain, whatever. Now in 2014, it read, "This pleasant day hike winds through dairyland and into humid cloud forest. You need to wade across a small river after 200 meters, but then it's a steady, leisurely incline for 2 kilometers before you start a climb to a steeper, narrow path. The path winds deep into the forest, though you can turn back at any time. To access the trailhead, take the first right fork out of Bouquet, heading north, and cross over 2 bridges. Immediately before the 3rd bridge, about 4 kilometers out of town, a track leads off to the left between a couple of buildings. Don't go alone and exercise caution as robberies have been reported here." Okay, well, but to me, when I was reading the trail post, I'm like, dude, this doesn't seem like a leisurely walk. This seems like a leisurely hike. So that's where I'm like, man, maybe you're
also used to mostly Jersey.
No, but what I'm saying is that the fact that it makes me believe that they could have fallen, they could have slipped, they could have, I don't know, because again, it is a clouded type of forest area. But then
you're right.
All the other evidence just does not sell me. It doesn't sell me.
So you're telling me some other random person fell too, and then all of a sudden they only lost 3 bones?
But I know you're stuck on the bones, but seriously, the bones throws me off.
Because the bones is evidence. The photos, evidence.
Yes.
And they're not going to fall at midnight.
My theory, right, is that they must have came across either something that they shouldn't have seen, someone that they shouldn't have met. I think they were at the wrong place at the wrong time, right? And those photos that were taken, maybe them like trying to escape, or Kris trying to escape or leave. I don't know. Also, why would they delete?
I was gonna say
that's backpack.
That's what I'm wondering. If the 509 photo 509, I'm wondering if that was them. Because think about the Delphi murders, and we'll probably cover these eventually too. Yeah. The Delphi murders, there's the clear photos and videos.
Well, the video,
and remember, they finally I don't know if you saw it, they just released the full video.
Yeah, of course I saw that. And very eerie. That sent shivers on my spine. I can't even imagine how they felt.
But the fact that the video was taken of him, I think that also leads to what 509 might have been.
That's what I think too. Because you're telling me that in between the last photo when they were in the daytime to the first nighttime photo, there's a photo missing. Mm-hmm. To me, that feels like, damn, I snapped you, caught you on 4K, baby.
Let me take a photo of him real quick and let's keep running. Or her.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing. And that's why I'm like, well, maybe they put the backpack so they could just stop searching for her and for searching for them, just so because they're searching the whole mountain.
Yeah.
So in 2020, in 2020, they changed the trail post. So now in 2020, I love you. In 2020, I got excited. It was changed a bit. It says, "This day hike wends its way through dairyland and into humid cloud forest. You need to wade across a small river after 200 meters, but then it's a steady, leisurely incline for 2 kilometers. Before you start to climb a steeper, narrow path, using a guide is highly recommended. The path leads deep into the forest, but you can turn back at any time. To access the trailhead from Bouquet, head north on the right bank of the river and cross over 2 bridges. Immediately before the third bridge, about 4 kilometers out of town, a track leads off to the left between a couple of buildings. The trail is not especially difficult, but it is always well maintained. In April of 2014, 2 Dutch nationals died while hiking here. Though the cause of death remains a mystery, don't go alone and always let people at your hostel or hotel know your plans.
Damn.
Yeah. So now, and let me show you their memorial.
That's wild.
Because if we were to go hike the El Pianista Trail, we could find their memorial. Yeah.
That's sad.
I know.
That's
so
really
sad. So sad. Well, this case remains shrouded in mystery with numerous conflicting details and unanswered questions. While the official theory leans towards a hiking accident, the abundance of unusual elements has fueled countless alternative theories, ranging from misadventure to the possibility of foul play. Her family, till this day, is still wondering what really happened. They still have no answers. There haven't been any new major leads recently, but people are still talking about it as one of those very eerie, mysterious, and sad cases that hopefully we get some answers. And, from there, it's just, what a case.
Yeah. I think it's sad because part of you almost wants them, whoever did it, or whoever knows something, just come forward and just say it.
I know, they're not gonna.
Because at that point, I feel like you don't even want justice. Yeah. You just want closure. And it's been now, 11 years? We're going, and it's April. It's April tomorrow, so that's going to be, That's rough.
Well, thank you for joining us today on Macabre Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Look, you guys hear me say it every single week. We want to hear from you. If you have a story that's just absolutely strange, sinister, or downright spooky, it doesn't matter how small you think it is, please send it our way. You can email us at macabremondayspodcast@gmail.com or jump over to our website, macabremondays.com, and submit your story. Yours just might be featured in an upcoming listener episode.
Follow us on social media by searching Macabre Mondays for photos of today's episode, updates, and a little extra spooky fun. We'll see you next Monday for another sinister, strange, and spooky episode. Stay tuned. More mystery is just around the corner. But until then, stay curious and stay safe. Bye, everyone.
Deuces.
We love to give credit where credit's due. We pulled information from a variety of sources to make sure we got the most accurate and detailed picture of this case for you. We looked at news articles from outlets like The Daily Beast, All That's Interesting, and Lad Bible. We also delved into Wikipedia, which compiles a lot of information. Additionally, we looked at forensic analysis and timelines from sources like Forensic Tales and Imperfect Plan. We also found some helpful information on Reddit threads where people have discussed the case in detail and went on their own deep dives, and YouTube documentaries and podcasts from channels like Case File True Crimes, Locations Unknown, and some others as well. These sources helped us piece together the timeline, understanding the evidence, and explore the various theories surrounding this incredibly complex case.